She goes home and it's just kind of like drinking water, I guess, or some shit, and then is like looking at the box, picks up the box, the batteries drop out, and she's like, dum bum ba. And then she goes and looks at him. She takes his clothes off.
Caresses his doll parts. Oh, wait, that was the movie.
This is Jason Patrick. Welcome to the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Welcome back to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Frog Bros Podcast presents Haunted by Tapes. We got another one coming at you tonight, and tonight's feature film is the 1988 masterpiece known as Child's Play.
A child.
Child's play.
Child's play.
This is a United Artists film.
Presents.
Directed by Tom Holland, not the one that you think you know.
But Tom Holland, the fabulous Tom Holland, we're a big fan of his because he also directed Fright Night.
Yeah, and obviously Chris Sarandon. Hello.
Yeah.
Susan,
Written by
Susan's
Don
brother.
Mancini, John Lafayette, and Tom Holland. But Don Mancini, who's still involved, and
He's written every movie and
he's a gay man, which we love about him.
every episode. Is he writing every episode too of the new show?
I'm not 100% on all that.
He's producing and overseeing.
Well, and Brad Dourif here
I was about to say
originates
Brad
Chucky.
Dourif and Chris Sarandon.
And just before we jump into anything else, but like Brad Dourif's daughter like took on the role of her dad
in the show's
in the
flashbacks,
series,
yeah.
and it's fucking like a dead ringer. They did such a fucking good job for that. Pretty
Yep.
cool. Just had to shout that out there because you got to go back to the Lakeshore Strangler. Is that what his name was, right?
Yeah, Lakeshore Strangler. And he's getting basically pursued by Chris Sarandon. And he gets shot, and they're chasing around the toy store. The voodoo and the lightning shit, it's awesome, though.
Oh, it's
Obviously.
got that fucking
always fun.
80s like hand-drawn lightning. It's so fucking amazing. I just love
that
that.
sound effect.
And a toy store exploding is a serious crime. That's a fucking crime if I've ever seen one.
Watching that scene over and over again just to see the badass toys in there is amazing.
Did you
but-
see the Ecto ones?
Oh, yeah. That's after the explosion. They have the shelf. They have the lone one in the box.
There's the box
Up
at the
there?
top, and then there's
Yeah.
a couple on the bottom, and there's one out of a box. The back
There's like
of
a
it.
display one, yeah. Really well done, but when you think, okay, this came out in 1988, so 1987 would have been one of those
Did you
toys
see
on
the
shelves.
good guy's machine gun?
Yeah, I love that.
The water Uzi
Insane.
or SMG.
The tool chest.
Which is hilarious because this is one of the things in this movie that kind of contradicts itself later on because they're making it sound like, oh, these dolls are so hard to find. Yet that store was fucking chocked full of fucking...
But it exploded, too.
No.
Yeah.
No, she said they were too expensive.
Yeah, but she said... I think she said she hadn't been able to find one, though.
No,
I mean,
she
she
said
knew
she-
they were expensive.
She
so.
said she didn't hear about it till recently, and she didn't have time to save up for it.
Oh,
She had to
okay.
buy a cheap one from the
Okay.
guy.
Yeah,
This
she gets
movie-
him the good guy tool chest instead, and he's like, well, I need a good guy. And she's like,
No, do you see how she trolls him by putting a couple items of clothing in that giant
Box
good guy
and he wants to
doll
open it
size
first?
box? She was fucking with him big time.
Yeah, she buys the doll in the alley. And she has to go into work that night and gets the babysitter.
That
her
fucking
friend.
manager there, I just
Oh, he's
wanted
a piece
to
of
throat
shit, yeah.
punch that motherfucker. It's like, no, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah. I'm going to fucking gouge out your eyes and skull fuck you with a strap on.
You work in shoes.
Yeah, you don't work in jewelry. But we're
Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news.
yeah. Here's about all of his strangulation. We can't forget the breakfast he fucks up though, because all the shit that they tie in there to the movie that they failed to do in any of the other Chucky movies about the good guy dolls. They have the good guy dolls advertisement on there. He's eating good guy cereal. He makes that. He
Good
takes
guy's
that
butter.
gigantic fucking glob of butter and puts it on the toast, and like the mom looks at it.
What was
and
that
she's like,
toaster set
"I'll eat
to?
this
Why was that
later."
toaster set to that? To incinerate?
I mean,
It's pre-owned by Hitler.
it's basic. Jesus Christ! It's
That's my line.
Hey, sidebar here for a second.
No,
Hitler-
Jesus Christ
Hitler had a micro penis.
also owned it before Hitler.
Hitler had
was-
a micro penis.
Hitler acquired it from Jesus Christ.
and born on the same day as this guy.
He was into artifacts. You know this, right? Weird.
Hitler?
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
occult.
we've seen Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
Jesus,
So while we're on a weird tangent about shit like that,
Hitler.
yeah, there's a.
How many times can we say Hitler during this podcast?
I don't know, but I was at my kid's soccer game on Saturday.
And Hitler was there.
No, and there's this kid on the other team that's like
It's like, oh, come on.
fucking hitting people in the game. And I was like wanting to be like, you gonna fucking call Hitler's youth over here for fucking a penalty or
What was
for a
happening?
yellow card?
The kid was hitting somebody?
Yeah, I was hitting kids and like slide tackling kids, and this is like 7-year-olds. So mind you,
Slide
this,
tackling.
this kid's being an asshole. And so at one point, like, yeah, I
Is
saw him
this
like pushing
soccer
other.
or
Yeah, this is American soccer.
Americans?
And so then, like, I was sitting by myself, and I couldn't make any jokes to anybody, especially at a kid's soccer game, because the other joke that came to mind, I was like, Jesus Christ, this kid's handsier than a fucking Catholic priest at a grade school.
Say it.
Well, I just said it just now.
People need to know.
I
No,
thought
at
those.
the game.
Oh, no, they
get them. Get
they
a,
get real fucking mad if I was saying shit
get
like
a
that. there.
megaphone.
I mean, it's hilarious, but
The babysitter gets murdered.
Yeah,
The police show up,
that's true.
and he's basically like, he suspects Andy of just being insane, obviously.
Well, because
And-
it's like, who else did
Well,
it?
right. It's like, you see these footprints? She's like, you are not insinuating. And he's like, well, I already checked your kid's shoes, but like,
yeah, he's like, I already did that, but you know.
yeah.
Then they check the Chucky doll's shoes.
One of my favorite parts is
Well, Andy does in the bedroom. He sees the.
she's talking to Andy, and he says, she was a real bitch, and she got what she deserved. I love it.
Why would you say that?
I didn't. Chucky did. And I find it weird that she's letting him bring Chucky to school, but you know, whatever. It's plot. And then
Yeah,
obviously
Show and tell.
Chucky is
Show and
like,
tell. We do it.
You know the
I never did show and tell.
No, I mean, we do it here.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
do it on our show
Yeah.
to make up for.
I
our
remember
youth.
doing it some.
I just
We-
never had a class that did anything.
We
like
had
that.
it in kindergarten or first grade.
I was gonna
Never-
say, we did
first
it-
grade maybe.
I did it in kindergarten and never after that.
They get on the train and go see his old buddy, old pal, old friend.
Eddie.
And you stay here, Chucky. I have to tinkle.
Yeah.
I've said tinkle occasionally ever since I was a kid. First watching this for P. I still say it.
That's just another way to say
I gotta
it.
go.
We get the
tinkle.
POV of Chucky running into the house and fucking some shit up, turning on the gas.
Oh, that is fucking heroic. Like, you forget like that scene in general because like he's a fucking killer in here. It's great.
Yeah, so he blows up the building, and we
The
kind of
guy blows himself up with that fucking gunshot, which is amazing.
yeah. Somehow he is obviously escaped and comes back out. I don't know. They cut ahead, so you don't know exactly how Andy and Chucky get back together.
No.
But basically, he ends up at the police station. The mom shows up there, and he's like, yeah, listen, this is fucked up.
Did you notice in the first scene where the cops are in the apartment that Susan Sarandon hits on her?
Chris Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon's brother. He like hits on her like 2 minutes after she finds out that her best friend just died.
Oh yeah.
What's a man? What do you expect?
Is he gonna call me?
He's a moron.
Then that other
Take
cop,
that.
the other cop's reading the newspaper with his feet up on the table.
Yeah. The other cop reminds me of Goose from Top Gun with hair. He's kind of like this.
He reminds me of Meathead from All in the Family.
the child been involved? I just, that's what I think of when cops in movies. I instantly think of the cop eating the donut and talking in Home Alone on the phone.
who also happens to be a cab driver in
Yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
He's proud of his city.
I think it's the same character.
Yeah, they are.
She takes Chucky, the therapist there or whatever, the medical guy's like, yeah, we're gonna keep your kid because he's fucked in the head.
But she keeps the Chucky doll.
She goes home and it's just kind of like drinking water, I guess, or some shit, and then is like looking at the box, picks up the box, the batteries drop out, and she's like, dum bum ba, and then she goes and looks at him. She takes his clothes off.
Caresses his doll parts. Oh wait, that was
So I
the
said,
movie.
that's what I was saying earlier. I think that's like the best possible way they could have had that discovery.
Yeah. And
So yeah, but Chucky's on the move, fucking with her in the house.
the batteries fall out of the box. Basically, then she goes over there and checks. There's no batteries. She drops it. He rolls under the couch. She's horrified for a minute, and then she's like, all right, fuck this.
Well, his head spins around, and
Yeah.
She takes him over to the fireplace and is like, all right, listen, motherfucker.
Yeah, she says, I'll throw you in the
she should
fire.
have just thrown him in there. I don't know.
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! That's what he says.
I'll teach you to fuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down the quote too because it's amazing. You're like, what? And then she tells the cop about Chucky.
Yeah, he leaves through the elevator, that whole chase sequence down the stairs, which is...
Then they go catch up with the bum to figure out what the fuck's going on, and then he like tries to
Right?
have his way with her.
Yeah.
All you got.
There's a,
That's not all you got.
and then obviously our cop intervenes and gets some shit sorted out for us.
They learn that it came from the toy store, and he's like, oh, well, that's the same toy store that I shut down. And then they explain that.
Yeah, burned down the toy store in Wabash. That's where the Lakeshore Strangler died. I killed him. Mm-hmm. And then,
Yeah, he's basically like, go the fuck home, bitch. And then he goes to the police station to look at Charles Lee Ray records. He's leaving. And he's driving, he's having a good time. And then Chucky starts strangling his ass from the back street.
that is
back
one
to
thing
seat.
too that I
Backstreet Boys.
feel like they didn't carry on with as much in the others. Like if you start out as a strangler, like him strangling with the jumper cables in this scene's fucking epic. I'm like, I want to see him do some other shit with some.
Does he ever try
strangling.
to? Does he strangle anyone else?
I don't know. I don't.
In the series, I mean.
I don't think so in season
In the
1. So maybe in
franchise?
season 2. it'd
Well, I
be-
meant in the whole franchise, any of the movies.
Yeah, not like they. I mean, if you're known as the Lakeshore Strangler, you think that there would be some backstory to that, but I don't know.
I don't understand why he doesn't ever just break the car. I mean, he has plenty of time before they show, like,
Yeah.
where the brake pedal actually slip off and stuff.
I love how he fucking slams on the gas though when he's just down there fucking with him.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
hell yeah, that's so good.
Ends up flipping the car over, and Chucky fucks with him more while he's trapped in the car. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was saying. Like, this movie looks pretty bleak. Like, it's cold, it's winter, it's...
It's a shitty part of town.
Exactly.
And Karen's doing her own investigation at this point, so she rolls by Charles Lee Ray's apartment and sees like all the fucking voodoo shit on the walls and everything else.
Yeah, basically. Figures out that he's a voodoo motherfucker and needs to go figure that shit out. Mm-hmm. The cop shows up behind her there again,
Sneaks up on her.
and they show John Bishop's place, the voodoo guy, and obviously Chucky shows up, and he explains that he's slowly turning human, and he's like, you're an abomination against humanity.
You have to be stopped.
And I do like the voodoo doll shit.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That when he snaps his legs one at a time, he's like, "You're gonna have to die."
And this
So
is this is the only time I'm ever going to say this sentence in my life, probably, but Chucky says, I have a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah, and the first person you've revealed yourself to is whose body you have to inherit, which is fucked up. There's this whole level
Some of what you are about to see and hear is explicit.
which is the reason why they didn't write dialogue like this in the reboot.
All right, Chucky, why don't you have a seat?
Yeah.
Well, in the reboot, it's a fucking robot.
Yeah, the doctor's trying to sedate
Andy.
Andy, too, and then Chucky shows up, basically, and fucks him up. Stabs
Yeah.
him in the fucking back of the knee or whatever it looks like, and then...
Yeah, but you missed the whole point where Karen goes to see John, and in his dying breath, he says, you have to kill his heart.
Yeah.
He's some sort of vampire or something.
Well, just because he's slowly turning human, and that's the most
Yeah.
human so far.
Chucky kills the doctor, which is a pretty good fucking kill.
Shock therapy death.
Yeah, I love that one. The old couple on the elevator, she calls the doll ugly, and he says, fuck you, when they get off the elevator. I love that scene. Andy's hiding in his closet full of toys. Karen gets Chucky. Mike gets stabbed. And he gives Karen the gun.
Yeah, he was trying to possess Andy again, and you get the cool sky effect again. I love they shove the motherfucker in the fireplace.
Yeah.
And he runs out again and does the flaming shit, and that just rules. He gets shot the fuck up, too.
There's some Nightmare on Elm Street nods here, right? So when you think the Lakeshore Strangler is very much kind of in line with the Springwood Slasher. And then obviously the burning scene where he comes out and he's still alive and he's on fire, a flaming fireball.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And then this movie does a good job of having several, like, hey, is he dead? Oh, okay, cool, it's over. And then there's, like, more, and there's much more.
Yeah, he shoots up the doll after it is burnt up and shit, and it finally looks like it's dead after it's fucking headless and everything, and the other cop shows up. And he fucks with the head, of course.
Yeah,
and
the
gets
other-
up. The fucking Chucky comes out of the vent, the body.
Grabs his neck.
Yeah, he pops out of the fucking vent just like Freddy popping out of the fucking window at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
And shot to death again.
They finally shoot through the fucking heart and it splatters blood all over the wall, which is amazing.
All those times that the mom's shooting, she's like a dead shot.
She's just missing. She's not shooting the heart,
No.
even though she got told. No, because you can see it shooting cotton. There's
Well,
a-
if you look at it from she's missing the heart, sure, but she's like blowing limbs off. She doesn't miss him completely.
yes, but she
at
was
all.
told that she has to kill the heart, and so like when you see her shoot him, like you see the cotton or the doll stuffing come out, and then when he gets shot at the end, is when it blood splurts.
Stuffing.
Yeah, like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Gobble, gobble.
Believe me now? Yeah, but who's gonna believe me? And they leave to the hospital.
End
Fade to black.
credits. And the epic music. This is on my Halloween playlist on Spotify.
I feel like in the sequels, you miss out on a little bit on the mom. Like Child's Play 2, I love, and then the babysitter's good stuff there, but there's some like shit left behind at the end of the first movie. I would love to have seen him come and try to kill the cops again and kill the mom instead of just trying to possess Annie's body in another sequel, just as for revenge.
Did they ever
Like, they could-
bring her back in the TV show?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of
Andy's in a
opportunity
TV
for
show, so
that. Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
in this season,
I wonder if she would.
Glenn
come
and
back.
Glenda are in it.
Yeah.
So it's likely, or possible anyway.
I haven't watched the new season yet.
They had the first episode premiere, but I haven't watched it yet either. I don't know if I can watch it directly on Peacock, is it?
I think Peacock's got it from what I've heard.
They had the
Yeah.
first season,
I
but I
think
don't
it
know if they're
might- I think
premiering it the same night
There
or
might be
whatever.
a delay.
Yeah, there
and
might
then
be.
you can watch it on there.
You forget how the first movie, this first Child's Play movie, is so fucking good. Like everything is fun about it. It stands up pretty well, and the pacing's pretty good. Like the second one, they up the ante so much, and they kind of change it with the step parents, but that almost like has Terminator 2 vibes for me at that point. Like with the step parent plot of them dying and everything, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay. But this first one's legit terrifying because he's revealed to so many people. Like in Child's Play 2, like none of the adults believe him besides the babysitter, or what is that? His foster sister, or
Foster
whatever.
sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's
so-
in the series
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
And so I think this first movie is much scarier from a general standpoint, but there's some really scary shit in Child's Play 2. Just the fact that there's no adult trying to protect him, there's no cop. It's kind of fresh that way, but this original movie really fucking holds up.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot.
She hasn't worked much in the last 6 years or so, but she's in her early 70s now. So
Could still be doable. Who knows? Let us know what you think of Child's Play. And subscribe to us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Frog Bros Podcast.
For less than a cup of coffee, you can subscribe
You
and
can-
help us.
you can
It is
feed-
significantly less than a cup of coffee.
you can
depending
feed
on
this
where you
little
go.
boy
It's
over
$3
here.
a month.
skip one energy drink in a
Starbucks.
month, and you'll be good.
$3 a month is nothing. What you should do is go subscribe and then forget about
You
it.
lose
and just
more
leave it
of that
perpetually giving us money
in your
until you
laundry
die.
machine.
Until you die.
That's our goal here. I mean,
We're cheaper than nudie pictures on most OnlyFans.
most.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're a $3 OnlyFans,
A lot of them
look
are
at
on
that.
sale for $3. Yeah.
Just think of us as your value. It's an everyday value.
Anyway,
Or your adult Happy Meal. That's $10, I guess.
good night.